Benghazi, the way we investigated it and the level of accountability that whoever was involved at that time, say Hillary Clinton, was justice served based on what happened at Benghazi and the 4 folks that we lost out there?
I'm not known for being subtle, so let me say yes for a basic reason. You're talking about fairly isolated diplomatic facilities in a hostile country, and you want to anticipate in hundreds of facilities overseas that you can manage basically a mob trying to storm that facility. If you want to make Fortress America, which if you travel overseas we already see, you can do that. These facilities are supposed to be open to people. They're supposed to be open to visa seekers. When I saw that, I saw a tragedy. I saw a tragedy that should be investigated. That's why I say I agree with an investigation. That investigation should be looking at the question of whether there's culpability. But there's a tougher question that says, how do we balance having hundreds of facilities? So there is both a cultural issue here about how America wants to be perceived, but there's also a financial issue here. Do you want to build fortresses in every tiny consulate around the planet? How do you look at that and say, we should anticipate this kind of mob coming into this kind of location and have every place not only secured, but have a backup plan to ensure that we can respond and evacuate? We do 45 seconds on TV, and that doesn't do a service to this problem. It goes back to the question of saying, if you want to say that Benghazi was a Hillary Clinton problem and that we should have responded more quickly and prevented loss of life, spend some time making the counter-argument about how difficult it would be to plan in sub-Saharan Africa and North Africa, in the Middle East and South Asia and Southeast Asia and East Asia, for every diplomatic location we have, to plan to make sure that never happens. And I'm going to say, good luck. You can't do it.
Perfect. So if we hold that kind of accountability to her, then we have to hold a similar kind of accountability of lack of perfection doesn't exist anywhere, which is fine. We have to stay consistent with that.
Yes.
Fair. Okay. So if we're going to say Hillary's not perfect, we have to keep going with that. So 30,000 emails, okay, on what happened, her breaking the laptops, the phones, all that stuff.
Yes.
Was the right level of accountability held to Hillary Clinton for what she did? And every time they asked her a question, she's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
That's you mentioned earlier I'm a political commentator. I'm not. I comment on it because people ask, but I'll give a semi-political answer. I think yes. If you look at the information that was in those emails, it's not clear to me that revealing that information was hugely substantial for national security or could have led to loss of life. So in terms of legal responsibility, I'd say I don't know how much money the U.S. wants to spend on this case. Going back to what I said earlier, if you can anticipate a defense attorney is going to have a good case too. So we're going to spend a ton of money. And remember, resources are finite. If I'm the attorney general, I'm saying, man, this is going to be a ton of people. How many? I'd rather put those people on child porn. I'd rather put them on gangs. The other thing, though, I'd say the flip side of this is I think she paid a tremendous price in terms of authenticity. And this is where I will make a vague political comment. In terms of people passing judgment. And to be blunt, I think some of that was appropriate. When I saw some of the answers about why this was on there, what I knew was classified and didn't, I'm like, as a guy who did this for decades, that dog don't hunt. I thought there was way too much bobbing and weaving, way too much avoiding questions, and I thought a lack of responsibility in looking at a camera and don't give me yes, but I didn't. Give me a break. Anybody who deals with national security information knows what's going on here. If you look at some of the information in there, it is classified. Sorry. It is. Now, I don't think, as I said, there should have been a criminal charge or a civil charge, but I do think the American people judged her, and based on the answers I saw, I'm not saying you should solely judge her on that basis, but people who judged her and said this is inauthentic, okay, I'm with that. That's fine.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.